-10 degrees heading towards Scotland, whilst Cornwall sits at 8 degrees. Now, that might sound backwards to you, but that's exactly what we could be looking at in just 10 days' time as a massive Arctic plunge threatens to transform the entire UK weather pattern. Is your area about to face the coldest spell of the winter so far? Because right now, following Storm Chandra, which left rivers breached across Somerset, Devon and Dorset, we've got another weather warning in force for the southwest today, and that's just the beginning of what could be a dramatic fortnight ahead. Over 40 counties are currently dealing with the aftermath of flooding, thousands of homes without power in Wales and the southwest, and now we're retracking not one, but potentially 3 separate weather systems that could bring everything from heavy rain today to Arctic blizzards by early February. In the next 12 minutes, I am going to break down exactly when each region gets hit, starting with today, yellow rain warning, then the complex weekend setup, and finally, this extraordinary cold outbreak that all 3 major models are now agreeing on. And here, what makes this forecast so crucial, at around the 9-minute mark, I'll show you why one particular model run from the European Centre is showing something we rarely see in the UK, a polar low that could bring dramatic temperature drops and heavy snow. But first, drop your location in the comments right now, your city or county, and tomorrow I'll give you a personalized breakdown of exactly what this cold spell means for your specific area, because the differences between Manchester and Birmingham or Edinburgh and Aberdeen are going to be absolutely massive over the next fortnight. Let me start with the immediate situation. London, you re-dry this morning, but rain arrives around lunchtime, temperatures reaching 7 degrees. Manchester, you've got clearer skies to start, a touch of frost in the suburbs, up to 6 degrees by afternoon. Birmingham, similar story, frost patches clearing to mostly cloudy skies, 7 degrees. Glasgow, this is where it gets interesting for you. A cold southeasterly wind is pushing in cloud and showery rain through the day, just 5 degrees, and it feels significantly colder in that wind. Cardiff, rain moving in by early afternoon, 8 degrees. Belfast, dry start, but rain arrives mid to late afternoon, temperatures around 7 degrees. Now, today's yellow warning covers the southwest from midday through to the early hours of Friday. Bath southwards west of Portsmouth, extending through Dorset, Somerset, Cornwall and Devon. The Met Office expects 10 to 15 millimetres quite widely, but with saturated ground from Storm Chandra, some locations could see 20 to 25 millimetres. Plymouth, Truro, Barnstable, rain intensifies through the afternoon, heaviest between 4 and 8 this evening. Bournemouth, Poole, Weymouth, similar timing, but slightly later. Bristol catches the northern edge around tea time, but wait until you see what happens as this system moves northwards overnight. That when things get rather more complicated. By midnight tonight, this rain band pushes into Wales and Northern Ireland, and here where the Met Office has extended warnings. The Midlands, you are looking at showery bursts arriving through the small hours. Nottingham, Leicester, Coventry, wet conditions developing between 1 and 4 in the morning. Northern Ireland, and this is significant, you've got a warning from midnight Thursday right through to 6 o'clock Friday evening. County Down and County Antrim, particularly over the hills, you could see 40 to 60 millimetres. That is substantial rainfall that will cause surface water issues as we head into Friday morning. Now, I mentioned this gets complicated, and here why. As this weather front pushes northwards into Scotland, it's going to encounter much colder air that's been sitting across the northeast. Currently, there is bitterly cold air just to our east, temperatures well below freezing across Scandinavia. And whilst we are not fully tapping into it yet, there is enough cold air across Scotland to turn this rain to snow above about 2 to 250 metres. Edinburgh, rain arrives around 3 or 4 Friday morning, but higher ground south sees snow developing. Braemar could wake to fresh snow. Aberdeen, Inverness, in that cold southeast wind, temperatures barely above freezing, any precipitation turns wintry. Glasgow sees mainly rain in the city, but hills to the south and east could see snow settling above 300 metres. The freezing level across Scotland drops to 2 to 300 metres through Thursday night. Leeds, Bradford, Sheffield, the Pennines and Peak District could see covering above 400 metres. Right then, Friday itself brings mixed conditions. Southwest sees more wet weather, low pressure to the west bringing strong winds and showers. Penzance, Falmouth, St Ives, blustery with showers, 10 degrees. Swansea, wet and breezy, 9 degrees. Birmingham, Wolverhampton, soggy conditions, 8 to 9 degrees. Northern England feels colder. Newcastle, Sunderland in that chilly easterly, struggling to reach 6 degrees. York, Scarborough, similarly cold, 5 to 6 degrees with onshore breeze bringing grey conditions. Liverpool, Manchester milder at 8 degrees but cloudy with rain. The weekend remains unsettled, low pressure bringing showery rain, cloud and windy conditions Saturday. Sunday looks marginally better between systems, but another low approaches Sunday evening. Weekend temperatures: London southeast 8 to 11 degrees, Manchester northwest 7 to 9, Birmingham Midlands 8 to 10, Edinburgh Glasgow 6 to 8, Aberdeen Inverness 5 to 6 degrees, feeling raw in that easterly wind. But here is what nobody is talking about yet, and this is where tomorrow's forecast is going to become absolutely crucial. Because whilst we re-dealing with this unsettled pattern through the weekend and into early next week, there's a much bigger story developing for the period around the 7th, 8th, and 9th of February. Check back tomorrow because the model runs tonight are going to be critical in determining whether this cold outbreak I am about to describe actually comes off or not. And at this stage, I need to be clear, we are looking at day 10, day 11, day 12 of the forecast. So there's still uncertainty. But when all three major operational models and their ensemble suites start showing the same pattern, that is when forecasters start paying very close attention indeed. Currently, the GFS model shows high pressure building to our north this time next week, allowing northeasterly winds to drag air from Scandinavia and the Arctic. GFS is moderate, showing -5 to -10 at upper levels, meaning surface temperatures struggling above freezing across Scotland, single digits across England and Wales. The Met Office model shows high pressure building very quickly around day 8 or 9. By day 10, we're looking at northerly winds bringing very cold air from Scandinavia, temperatures well below average, and with moisture available from milder air to our south, any precipitation would likely be snow, potentially heavy. The ECMWF European model shows similar blocking high pressure north and west, low pressure south and east, classic setup for cold easterlies. But remarkably, ECMWF shows what appears to be a polar, low developing and tracking towards the UK around day 12 or 13. Polar lows are small, but intense low-pressure areas forming in very cold air, bringing dramatic temperature drops, strong winds, and heavy snow. The chance of this exact feature is slim, but it indicates genuinely Arctic air could be present. The Ensemble data shows whether it just operational runs or broader support for this pattern. GFS Ensemble shows temperatures around average for the next week to 10 days. Then around 7th, 8th, 9th of February, the spread shows much colder solutions appearing. Not all members, there are still milder runs, but substantial portions now show genuine cold plunge. ECMWF Ensemble shows similar, average through early next week, then more cold runs from 8th or 9th onwards. The operational polar low run sits right in the Ensemble pack, suggesting it plausible, not an outlier. The dew point temperatures dropping sharply in both ensembles indicates genuine air mass change, sustained period of drier, colder, continental or Arctic air replacing mild, moist Atlantic air. If this pattern comes off, here is what different regions could see, bearing in mind this is 10 to 14 days away. London southeast, daytime 3 to 5 degrees, overnight -2 to -5, particularly suburbs and rural areas. Any precipitation, likely snow. Oxford, Cambridge, Brighton, similar. Manchester, Liverpool, Leeds, daytime 2 to 4 degrees, feeling colder in northeasterly wind. Overnight -3 to -6 across northern England. Sheffield exposed to easterly could feel like -10 with wind chill. Birmingham Midlands, daytime 3 to 5, overnight -2 to -4. Scotland sees coldest conditions. Edinburgh, Glasgow, daytime might not exceed freezing, 0 to 2 degrees, overnight -5 to -8. Aberdeen, Inverness, colder still, struggling above -1 by day, potentially -10 to -12 overnight in rural areas. Wales, Cardiff, Swansea, 3 to 5 by day, -1 to -3 overnight. Northern Ireland, Belfast, Derry, 3 to 5 by day, -2 to -4 by night, potential snow showers off Irish Sea. Model agreement is crucial. Yesterday showed hints of this pattern with disagreement. Today, S runs show much better agreement. GFS operational, GFS ensemble, Met Office model, ECMWF operational, and ECMWF ensemble all showing shift towards colder conditions in second week of February. Not guaranteed, we are beyond day 7 where forecast skill drops significantly, but confidence is building. If this continues in tomorrow, S runs, and over the weekend, early next week we be issuing proper cold weather and snow warnings. The uncertainty centers on high pressure position. We confident high pressure likely builds somewhere to our north or northwest around 7th to 10th February showing consistently. What S uncertain is exactly how far south it extends, how strong it becomes, and therefore how cold the circulating winds will be. A 100-mile shift in that high pressure changes everything. Centered over Iceland gives northwesterly wind, cold but not extreme. Centered over Greenland or northern Scandinavia gives pure northerly or northeasterly, and that S when things get very cold indeed. The one detail concerning me most is the combination of very cold air and moisture. Massive temperature contrast between Arctic air over UK and milder air to our south and west over Atlantic creates a boundary where very active weather develops. Heavy snow, blizzard conditions, rapid temperature shifts. The ECMWF polar low is an extreme example, but even without that specific feature, we could see significant snowfall if low-pressure systems track along that boundary. For coastal areas, strong easterly or northeasterly wind brings significant wind chill. Scarborough, Great Yarmouth, Dover might read 3 or 4 degrees, but feel like -5 in the wind. Inland areas feel less severe despite being colder due to shelter from wind. Practically, if this cold spell arrives, expect transport disruption. We done to handle snow well, particularly southern England. Rail disruption, hazardous roads, airport delays likely, schools may close, energy grid faces increased demand, vulnerable people need extra precautions. But there's hope too. After weeks of mild, wet, unsettled weather, this potentially brings settled conditions. Cold easterly winds often bring clearer skies, particularly away from eastern coasts. The Midlands, Western England, Wales might see sunshine despite the cold. Even Scotland would get breaks between snow showers. Right, I know I've covered a lot there, and we're at about the 12-minute mark now, so let me bring this together. Today, through the weekend, unsettled is the word. Rain warnings for the southwest today, extending to Northern Ireland overnight. Scotland seeing some snow over the hills. Friday remains wet and windy for many. The weekend stays showery and changeable. Early next week, more of the same, low pressure nearby, temperatures around average for the time of year. But then, and this is the crucial bit, around the 7th to 10th of February, potentially a major pattern change. All the main models are now showing high pressure building to our north, cold air moving in from the northeast or north, and the possibility, I stress the possibility, of a significant cold spell with the potential for widespread snow. The confidence in this ISNT high enough yet to start making specific predictions for individual locations. We are still 10 to 14 days out, but the signal is strengthening. Tomorrow, S model runs will be critical. If they continue to show this pattern, confidence will build further. By the weekend, we should have a much clearer picture of whether this is genuinely going to happen or whether the models shift away from it. So please drop your location in the comments. Tell me where you are, your city or your county, and tomorrow when I do the next update, I will try to give you a personalized breakdown of what this potential cold spell could mean for your specific area, because the differences are going to be enormous. Edinburgh could be at -8, whilst London is at 2 degrees. Manchester might be seeing blizzards whilst Cardiff sees sleet. These details matter. Before I finish, let me give you a quick recap in plain terms. Heavy rain today, yellow warning for the southwest. That rain pushes north tonight, causing issues overnight into Friday morning for Northern Ireland, and potentially bringing snow to higher ground in Scotland. Friday stays unsettled, wet and windy for many. The weekend remains changeable. Then early next week, more unsettled conditions. But around the 7th to 10th of February, all signs point towards a potential major cold outbreak from the Arctic, bringing the coldest spell of the winter so far to many areas, with snow likely. Tomorrow's forecast will be absolutely crucial because we'll see if the models maintain this cold signal or back away from it. I'm recording the next update tomorrow morning around 9 o'clock. It'll be live by 10, and that's when I'll know much more about whether this Arctic plunge is genuinely on the cards. Check back tomorrow for that personalized forecast for your area. I genuinely want to help you prepare for whatever's coming, whether that's more rain and wind or this potential cold and snowy spell. Leave your location below, and I'll do my best to cover as many areas as I can. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe in today's rain if you're in the warning areas, and I'll see you tomorrow morning with what I suspect will be a rather important forecast update.